是我们大家能够在这边同守安息。
Hallelujah. Thank the Lord that we can gather here on this Sabbath to worship Him.
这也是神祝福的一天。
This is a day that is blessed by God.
像圣经说的，每一天早晨都是新的。
Just like the Bible say, every day is a new day.
这带给我们盼望，我们在主里面、主的恩典里面每一天都是新的。
And it gives us hope every day in the blessing of the Lord.
今天早上跟大家分享是神的天平跟人的天平。
This morning, I would like to share with you the scale of man and scale of God.
首先我们要谈到在公元前539年，这个巴比伦要亡国，被波斯跟马大的攻进来的那一天晚上的事情。
And this morning, we're going to talk about the event that happened before Christ when the Persian army attacked Babylon.
这记载在圣经但以理书第5章。我们看但以理书第5章。
Let's look at this event in Daniel chapter 5.
第5章第3节，我们先看第3节到第6节。
Let's first read from verse 3 to verse 6.
第3节这个第2节这边说，这个巴比伦王伯沙撒王就要款待1000的这个大臣摆设筵席，把他的父亲尼布甲尼撒王从这个父亲有中文说是他的祖父就说是从耶路撒冷圣殿所掳掠来的这些金器银器拿出来款待这些贵宾。
In verse 2, it says here, Belshazzar brought out the vessels which his grandfather Nebuchadnezzar brought from the temple of Jerusalem.
我们看第3节。
And let's look at verse 3.
于是他们把耶路撒冷圣殿库房中所掠的金器拿来，王和大臣、王后、徽兵就用这些器皿饮酒，他们饮酒赞美金银铜铁木头所造的神。第5节
Verse 5.
忽然有指头显出在王宫的灯台相对的这个粉墙上面写字，王看见这个写字的指头。第6节
Verse 6.
就变了脸色，心意惊慌，腰骨好像脱节双膝，彼此相碰。就是在这一天晚上，有1000的这个大臣贵宾，那么在请客的时候，他把他的祖父就是尼布甲尼撒王，这个从耶路撒冷，他因为攻打耶路撒冷这个圣殿里面的这些金器银器拿来饮酒且赞美这个用金银铜铁所造的这些偶像。
And the night they're having a feast for the guests of the Lord, the king. And during the feast, they brought out the vessel, the cups they took from the temple of Jerusalem, and they drank from the cup and also worship idols.
突然有一个指头出现在这个墙壁上写字。
And suddenly there was a finger that appeared and started writing on the wall.
所以后来有人就说这个有一个叫做但以理，他曾经向你的祖父解梦过的。
So when that happened, someone suggested to the king that there's someone whose name Daniel has once interpreted a dream for your grandfather.
所以但以理来就帮他们解释这个墙面上这个没有人看得懂的这些字是什么意思的。
So then Daniel came and explained to them what this writing on the wall that no one could read means.
我们看25节。
Let's go to verse 25.
同章25节。
The same chapter, verse 25.
所写的文字是你提克勒乌法尔斯。26。
26.
讲解是这样。你就是神已经数算你国的年日，到此完毕。提克勒就是你被称在天平里显出你的亏欠。28。比勒斯就是你的国要分裂，归于马大和波斯人。那么。我们再看30节。
Let's go to verse 30.
当夜加勒底王伯沙撒被杀，马大和大利乌年62岁就娶了这个加勒底，就是巴比伦国。巴比伦国是在当时是最强盛的，世界最强盛的国家。
At that time, Babylon was the strongest nation in the world.
而且它的版图也可以差不多是已经占了这个它的本来王宫就是在波斯湾，今天的这个伊拉克那边不只是两河流域，甚至于打到这个西北边的这些亚述也被他打倒了。那么有南边以色列犹大国都已经被他们征服了。
And the territory of the kingdom reached far away, such as reaching Syria or Israel and Iraq.
那么巴比伦要亡国，事实上神就借着100-200年前就借着先知耶利米先知、以赛亚先知都预言，就告诉他们这个神会惩罚巴比伦国的。
And the demise of the kingdom of Babylon was prophesied almost 200 years ago through God's prophet.
那么在这一天晚上，他款待这个大臣贵宾，有全国当时也几乎可以说是全世界的这个重要的这些人物1000人那么用了把他祖父从这个圣殿所拿来的这些圣器拿起来喝酒赞美偶像的。
And at this night, when he had guests from almost all the worlds attending the feast, he took out the cups and vessels that they brought from the temple of Jerusalem.
所以神就用一个看得到的，只有一个指头在墙壁上写字。
So God used allow them to see a finger to write and the finger wrote on the wall.
这几个字，第一个你就说是神已经数算你的国到此日为止。
And the first word that was wrote was mine, which means the day of your kingdom is numbered.
提克勒就是说你被神称在这个天平里，你显出亏欠来。
And tekel means you have been weighted on the scale and you're lacking.
这个比勒斯就是分裂，就是你的国今天要分裂归给马大跟波斯的。
And Perez means your kingdom will be divided tonight.
据传说，当一天他那个巴比伦那么强的那个城墙一定是很厚没有办法攻入的。那么结果那一天是怎么样被攻打的？
So if you think about it, for a kingdom as strong as Babylon, they must have a strong wall, a thick wall, tall wall around the city. Yet the city was overrun.
据说是马大波斯他们把这个幼发拉底河，今天还是存在的这个伊拉克那个幼发拉底河那边，就从上游把这个水就引到其他的地方去。
And there was saying that the army of Mede and Persia they rerouted the river upstream.
因为水是人生活最重要的一件东西，所以他们水要引到城里面，有很多的这些人需要水的。
And because water is essential, is essential for living, that's why they must have built some river and to guide the water into the city.
那么他们把这个大河的水引到其他地方去，没有进入来，他们就走这个干地。从这个城墙的下面就进到这个王宫里面来了。
And once they have rerouted the water, they walk in the bank of the river and walk directly into the city.
就在那一天晚上，他在大请客的时候，那个指头就在墙壁上写的。
And this is the night when they were having the feast, where the finger appeared and wrote on the wall.
特别在这边写着提克勒，就说是你被神称在这个天平里，你显出亏欠来。
And tekel means that you have been weighted on the scale and you are found lacking.
在古代量东西常常是用一边是标准的华码多重，那么另外一边就是说你所要量的东西所以又叫做英文也叫做 balance， 就是这个天平。
And back in the day, when they weigh things, they would put things on the scale and they would put weight on one side and try to balance it out to figure out the weight.
那么事实上，神的天平只有是在那一天晚上让他显出来看到而已。
And the scale of God was only appeared during that night.
那么神老早就在量这个天平，都是在量伯沙撒王了。
Even though they only saw they were told about the scale at that night, yet God has been weighing him beforehand.
同样的，在今天，神的天平也是在测量我们的。
And likewise today, the scale of God has been weighing us.
只是像伯沙撒王，通常神没有显现出来告诉他而已。
And the difference is at that time, God did not let Belshazzar know that God's been weighing him.
我们看箴言16章第2节。
Let's turn to Proverbs chapter 12.
箴言16章第2节。
Excuse me. Proverbs chapter 16, verse 12.
第2节。
Oh, verse 2.
第2节。
Verse 2.
人一切所行的，在自己的眼中看为清洁，唯有耶和华衡量人心。我们再看11节。
Let's go to verse 11.
公道的天平和秤都是属于耶和华，囊中一切的砝码都为他所定的。在这里说，告诉人一切在自己眼中看为清洁很好的，但是神是在衡量，神用他的天平在衡量人的心。
Even though something may look pure in a man's eyes, yet God has His own weight.
那么神的这个天平跟秤是公义、是公平的。
And the weight and the scale of God is fair and just.
那么一切砝码为他所定，这个砝码就是标准的标准的这个来称重的有些用假的砝码那就是重量不够这样就不是标准了。
And it says here in 11, all the weights in the bag are His word, is meaning that the judgment of God is fair.
所以在这里说，所用的这个天平，所用的这些砝码，这个标准是神所定的。
So all the standard and all the guideline rules are set by God.
因为神有绝对的这个公义绝对的公平。
For He is absolute justice and rule.
神的公义公平有时候也是常常超过人所能够了解的。
And sometimes the righteousness of God is beyond man's comprehension.
那神的天平的这个目的就是用在现在的世界今生，或者是在末日主再来的时候那时候所显示出来的。
And the scale is manifested in this life, in the past life, and during the time of judgment.
所以神在100-200年前借着大先知、小先知，许多都是在讲神会惩罚这个巴比伦的。
That's why 100 years ago, through different prophets, God prophesied that He will punish Babylon.
最开始的这个尼布甲尼撒王，因为骄傲，所以神让他有7年的时间出草如牛。
And we know that when Nebuchadnezzar was proud of himself, he was turned into a beast and ate grass for 7 days.
这件事情，他的孙子这个伯沙撒王应该是很清楚的。
And I believe that his grandson Belshazzar would know this incident very clearly.
所以神在当时就是告诉他说：“你的国到今天为止，因为你在神的天平上称起来是不够的，是亏欠的，太多了。”
That's why God told him that night that your kingdom will end today, for you have been weighted on the scale and found lacking.
那么，像我们伯沙撒王那一天当天神的惩罚，就是在今世他还活着的时候，就让他看到神的天平。
And the punishment that God gave Belshazzar that night is allow him to see the scale of God.
神的天平另外有一种用处是更重要的，就是在将来主在末日的时候，这个在大宝座面前的神的这个审判。
And the scale is even more important when the day Jesus comes again. It will be the judgment in front of God.
我们看传道书12章14节。
Let's turn to Ecclesiastic.
传道书12章14节。
Chapter 12, verse 14.
这是传道书在追寻人生到最后一个结论。
This is the conclusion of book of Ecclesiastic for a man's life.
他说：“因为人所做的，连一切隐藏的事情，无论是善是恶，神都必审问。”
It says here, God will bring every work into judgment.
所罗门王一开始就讲了很多的虚空。
In the beginning of the book, King Solomon mentioned vanity many times.
事实上，他这个虚空是在讲叫我们追求那一些不是虚空的。
And his point, he was trying to express that we should pursue things that is not
那么
vanity.
最后2节就是他的一个总结论。
And the last 2 verses are his conclusions.
就是敬畏神，谨守他的诫命。
Fear God and keep his commandments.
那最后他说，人一切隐藏的事情，到最后的时候，是善是恶，神会审问的。
And he says, in the end, every secret of man, whether good or evil, will be judged.
神有绝对的这个公义。
God is absolute just.
那这些公义往往是超出我们神所理解的，
And sometimes
人所理解的。
God's justice is beyond man's understanding.
所以有时候我们常常抱怨或者听到神的公义在哪里，神在哪里。
Even though sometimes we may hear people complain, where is the justice of God and where is the righteousness of God?
甚至于有一些哲学家就宣告神已经死了。
And some philosophers even proclaim that God has disappeared.
那么在启示录这个谈到这个末日神的秤，在用神的秤的时候。
And in Revelation, it mentioned when God uses his scale at the end day.
在启示录第20章。
In Revelation chapter 20.
第20章11节、12节。
Revelation chapter 20, verse 11 and 12.
说，我又看见一个白色的大宝座，宇宙在上面的，从他面前的天地都逃避了，再无可见之处。12。我又看见死的人无论大小，都站在宝座前，案卷展开了，并有另一个案卷展开，就是生命册。死了的人都凭着这案卷所记载的，照他们所行的受审判。 在这里就告诉这个世界末日结束的时候，这个新天新地已经出现了。这个时候就是一个大宝座，是神在审判世界上的众人。
It says here in the end day, when new heaven and earth appear, a white throne appeared, and God who sat on the white throne was judging men.
这里写着有2本册子，一本叫做生命册。
And it says here there are 2 books. One is the book of life.
一本他没有讲名字，有的人就称为行为册，因为他这里说是照他们所行的受审判。
And it did not mention the name of the other book. However, some people call it the book of deeds, for people are being judged according to their action.
那就是神的天平，在末日最后神用他的天平在末日的时候再称的。
And this is the scale of God, for He will judge men in the end time according to His scale.
所以主耶稣来到世界上的时候，他说：“你们所讲的这个神话每一句在将来神的审判做成，都要被提供出来的。”
That's why when Jesus came, He told the people, every word you say will be brought out when the judgment time comes, and you will be judged accordingly.
我们通常也常常听到有一句俗语说：“人在做，是天在看。”中国人的天常常就是代表神。
And there's a saying that whatever you are doing, the heaven is watching you.
那么，所以神的天平是绝对的公义。
So we know the justice of God for the scale is absolute.
然后这些公义的确有时候常常超过我们人所能够了解的。
And sometimes this justice is beyond our understanding.
就像约伯一样的。
Just like Job.
他这么样虔诚敬畏神、远离恶事的人。
He's a man that fears God and separate himself from evil.
他对神的认识也是很清楚。
And he has a clear understanding of God.
但是在这个患难的时候，他却突然间也是没有办法接受。他晓得这是神的作为，但是他没有办法接受。从神来的作为就是有绝对的公义。
And when he encountered tribulation and trials, even he had hard time understanding the righteousness of God.
所以他说他希望能够像在法庭上能够与神来辩论。他认为他的理由比神更充足。要辩论的话，他一定胜过神的。
That's why he wanted to have a discussion or argument with God and see to prove that he is right.
但当神显现的时候，要让他讲的，他说我不敢讲，他已经看到自己的愚昧了。
But however, when God appeared and wanted him to speak his mind, Job instead said that I have solved my own foolishness.
约伯记也是在告诉我们，神没有欠我们一个回答要神也不必跟人让人他所做的事情让人能够了解。
God wants us to know that He does not owe us an answer, nor does He need to explain to us why He's doing certain things.
但是当我们对神的公义有问题，没有办法接受的时候，那是神在考验我们的信心的时候。
And when we have questions or when we cannot accept things that we see that is being done by God, this is the time when God is testing our faith.
如果我们能够从圣经真正的认识神，我们能够接受、感谢、领受那些我们所不能了解的。
If we truly understand God through the Bible, then we will receive these things with thanksgiving.
那就是真正的信心。
And this is true faith.
那么我们就接着就谈到这个人的天平。
So then let's talk about the scale of men.
人，我们每一天在生活、判断事情、决定，也常常用自己的天平来判断、来甚至于论断的。
In our daily life, we often use our own scale to determine things.
但是人的天平常常是变动的。
However, the scale of men are often adjusted.
常常是因为自己的主观偏见或者是骄傲带来了一些错误。
And oftentimes, because of our own judgment, our own objections, we often make mistake.
有时候因为旁边的环境、旁边的人的关系，因为人的这个因素，我们也改变的。
And sometimes the scale of men also changes because of our surroundings or the people around us.
有时候是为了自己的这个名利私心，我们就改变我们这个砝码、这个秤的这个标准了。
And sometimes because for our own benefit, we will change the weight on the scale to fit our own agenda.
就像19世纪初的时候，这个维也纳开始普遍的流行这个瓦尔兹的这个音乐。
Just like in the 19th centuries in Vienna, the trend of waltz was spreading.
好像到今天，我相信我们都听过这个什么蓝色多瑙河这一类，就是那时候开始盛行的这个这个瓦尔兹的这个音乐。
And I believe many of us had heard the music that was spread during that time.
当时在英国的这些上流社会的人，他们听到了、看到了就说是这些维也纳的人是疯狂了。
And during that time, the upper class people, when they heard the waltz, the spreading of waltz, they say they're gone crazy.
但不久以后，他们也就接受成为在上流社会里面大家所能够接受的一种音乐。
However, shortly after, the upper class people also accepted as their music.
人的见解、人的看见，常常是偏见，或者常常存着从本来的一种错误的一种判断。
And the judgment of men often involve mistake and error from the beginning.
教会在这一类的事情，我们看过去也是会有的。
And likewise, if we look at the past of the church, similar things also occurred.
我举一个例子，说是我哥哥他比我大5岁，那么他们当时在考大学的时候，当时教会读大学的人还是比较少。
And I'll give an example. My elderly brother, who is 5 years older than me, back then when he was trying to enter the college, and because at that time there are fewer people that attend college, there are fewer people that attend college in church.
那么在当时在讲台上也常常提到，这个世界上的学问是小学没有用的。
And oftentimes you will hear that, and because of that, oftentimes you will hear that the sermon speaker will say that the knowledge from the world is useless.
你懂了太多的话，太多的学问，反而离开神。
And they will tell you that the more knowledge you gain, the more likely that you will depart from God.
所以，当我哥哥在考大学，后来才知道，说有一位在帮助他祷告，不是帮助他祷告上大学，让他祷告考不上大学的。
So later on, my brothers found out that one of the members was praying for him, but the content of the prayer was that they were praying for him not to be able to enter college.
今天我们听起来会觉得很好笑，不过当时他也不是坏的动机啊。
Today, when we hear this, we would think this is ridiculous. However, at that time, their motive wasn't bad.
那观念当时的时候是有的观念，就是缺了太多的学问了，会离开神了。
The concept at that time is the more knowledge you have, the more likely you will depart from God.
世界上的学问没有用的。
And they will say that the knowledge of the world is useless.
这出发点虽然不是完全错，但是应用起来有人讲而且他也不是一个在教会很热心又有头衔的人。
Even though the intention wasn't bad, but when it comes to execution, it didn't turn out as good.
甚至于我本身要离开， 要从我家是在嘉义中南部，要到台北坐飞机来美国的时候，
Even though when I was departing from Taiwan and coming to United States,
我在家里整理行李，三点的飞机12点多有一个中人的也曾经在讲台上讲到的他说听说你要去美国，我来看你。
And my flight was at 3, and around 12, one of the members who also was a sermon speaker came to my house and say, "I'm here to visit you since I heard you are going to United States."
我说好了，但是我在整理行李，我没有办法，可以一边整理你一边跟我讲。
And I told him that since I'm packing my luggage, I'm actually not able to talk with you while I'm packing.
那这结果来了，第一句话就说是，你想你要去美国，这个是合乎神的旨意吗？
So the first thing this member that can visit me asked me said to me is, "Do you think this is the will of God?"
我相信他心里是自己有答案的。他心里说是去美国求学就不合乎神的旨意，你不要去算了。
I knew at that time this member already have his answer in his heart, which is thinking that this is going to United States is not according to the will of God.
我也记不得当时怎么跟他回答，就说很早教会的人都知道我要来美国，那你到今天才要讲。
And I forgot how I replied to this member, but I said I was thinking in my heart that many people already knew I was going to United States. Yet you wait till the last day to come to me.
他们的出发点基本的动机不是完全错的，但是就会造成这许多主观跟偏见的。
Their initial intention wasn't bad, however, it often caused into objective opinion.
这跟约伯的3个朋友也是一样。
Just like the 3 friends of Job.
约伯的3个朋友，他们不认识神吗？
The 3 friends of Job, did they not know God?
他们也认识神。
Of course they knew who God is.
他们认为人做坏了，神会惩罚。
They think that because God will punish when men have done something wrong.
他们就咬定这个出发点，那应用在约伯的身上就完全错误了。
However, when they applied this logic to Job, they were wrong.
所以甚至于后来神要他们3个朋友认罪，说是你要去请约伯来帮你们祷告献祭，我才会接纳的。
And later on, God even told these 3 friends of Job that they need to repent, and not only that, they need to ask Job to pray for them, then he will forgive them.
这也是从他们的主观偏见、骄傲所造成的一种偏差的。
And these were also caused by the objective perspective of men.
那么另外一种情形，我们常常是因着这个人的名利或者自己的私心我们的天平就偏差了，用了不同的砝码。
And sometimes because of our own selfishness, the scale were also adjusted.
那么在民世记12章里面就记载这个米利暗。 摩西的姐姐跟亚伦来抵抗摩西的这个领导。
In Numbers chapter 12, it recorded that Aaron and Miriam they went against Moses.
而且他用一个原因，就说是因为摩西娶了古时的女子。
And the main point of their argument was that Moses married a Gentile woman.
因为这个。 讲起来会时间比较长一点，所以我们就简单提一下。这个古时是埃提俄伯的这个在埃及南边的埃提俄伯 ，Ethiopia。
So Ethiopia is at the south of Egypt.
他用这个理由，因为当时大部分的人都会从亚伯拉罕就娶自己的这个同族的人。
And ever since the time of Abraham, they would marry people from their own tribe or races.
他用这个做理由 来抬高自己，来贬低摩西的这个领导。
However, they used the fact that Moses married a Gentile woman to elevate themselves and belittle Moses.
我相信他认为他所提的理由一定是正确的。
I believe that their reasoning was correct.
所以他又找了他的哥哥亚伦是祭司来作证。
Excuse me. Miriam must have believed her point was correct. That's why she also seek for the support from his brother, Aaron.
所以这时候神出面了。
And at that time, when that happened, God appeared.
让米利暗长大麻风。
And God allowed Miriam to have leprosy.
他所找的这个理所用的这个理由，都被用在摩西的这个身上是完全的错误。
And to show that the reasoning that Miriam used on Moses was completely wrong.
而且他的动机也是不正确的。
And her motive was also incorrect.
所以在神看起来就是一个罪，让他长大麻风的。
And all these in the eyes of God are sin. That's why God allowed her to have leprosy.
就是从人的私心，人就会改变用这个砝码，用这个人的秤来称别人的时候，那就显出这个错误跟罪来。
So sometimes when men adjust their scale according to their own selfishness, this is a sin.
所以当亚伦看到神的称出来的是吧？那么米利暗长了这个麻风，他马上说是求摩西替他们祷告，他就认罪。这是我们愚昧所造成的错误。
So as soon as Aaron saw the leprosy on Miriam, he asked Moses to pray for them and admit they have committed sin.
那么另外一种的情况所造成的这个偏差，就是人际关系周围环境的这个关系，我们造成我们的错误跟偏差的。
And another factor that will affect our scale is our relationship with the people around us.
特别中国人是看重人情，常常比这个公益还更重要的。
Especially in the Eastern culture, we look at the relationship. We value the relationship of men more than righteousness.
那么，所以，但是尊重人情、人际关系有一部分是好，但是你过分用这样变成一种政治手腕的话，那就会有偏差了。
Even though this is a good thing in a certain way, however, when it becomes the means of politics in church, then this is not good.
有时候我们也会发生同一个议案，在不同的环境讨论的同一个人会有不同的这个不只是不同，也是变成相反的这个态度。
And sometimes we can see that even though sometimes people may be discussing the same person, yet in two different environments, the feedback would be exact opposite.
当然，如果因为在一次讨论有各种不同的看见提出来，那么经过这个思考，这是应该的，而改变是应该的。
Of course, it is normal for the feedback to change if something was not mentioned in the previous discussion was brought to light, and when that happened, this is natural.
但是如果是因为旁边的人的这个关系而引起的这个变成这个相反的态度，那就不对了。
However, if the feedback or opinion changes simply because the people around us is different, then this is not correct.
不过人的偏差跟离开这个公义、公正的这个道路，也是常常因为周围的这个环境的这个关系。
And sometimes for men, sometimes men stray away from the path of God is often related to our environment.
这个在圣经里面，这个原则也是很清楚的。
And the Bible states the principle very clearly.
他说是就说是，不是就说不是。
The Bible says, "Let your yes be yes, no be no."
然后保罗也跟哥林多教会的信徒说，在我们所传的只有一事，没有似是而非的。
And Paul said to the Corinthian church, "There's only one gospel that we preach to you."
那么这也是人情这个人际关系常常会造成我们在这个人的天平上的一个错误。
So sometimes the relationship of men will affect our judgment on the scale.
好，我们最后谈到这个，我们在人的天平与神的天平之间，我们就是要以神的天平作为我们的天平。
And lastly, let's talk about when we're choosing between the scale of God and scale of men, we need to let the scale of God be our scale.
我们看启示录21章第17节。
Let's turn to Revelation chapter 21.
21章17节。
17.
17节又量了城墙，按着人的尺寸，就是天使的尺寸，一共有144座。这里应该是量到这个新耶路撒冷啊，就是在描写神最后神的教会。
Here is describing the wall of the New Jerusalem, which is the Church of God, is being measured.
他在写这个城墙的这个根基啊，城墙的这个根基有12属徒啊的名字，还有羔羊啊，主耶稣基督。
And he says there are the name of the disciples.
他最后在量这个城墙的这个宽度。
And they were measuring the thickness of the wall.
所以17节说又量了城墙，因为这里应该是讲城墙的这个宽度，因为这个对于一个城的安全是一个很重要的关键。
So this is in 17. The measurement is probably referring to the height of the wall.
这时候他是这里说，那人用的是人的尺寸，就是天使的尺寸。
And it says here the measurement is according to the measure of a man, that is of an angel.
在这里就是在新耶路撒冷这个用量的这个标准，人的尺寸就是等于是神的这个尺寸跟天使的尺寸就是一样的。
It says here in the New Jerusalem, the measure of men, the scale of men, is the same as the measure of God, which is referring to the scale of
就是
God.
教会达到完全的时候，也就是人的尺寸、人的天平就是也是成为神的天平。
So when church is perfected, the scale of man is the scale God. The scale of God is the scale of man.
那神的天平从古代事实上从在律法的时候就已经告诉我们。
And the scale of God was given to us during the time when the law was given to us.
在摩西的时候我们看利未记19章35节。
Let's turn to Levites.
利未记19章35节、36节。
Levites 19, verse 35 and 36. Leviticus, I'm sorry. Leviticus chapter 19.
你施行审判不可行不义，在除秤升斗上也是要如此。36。
36.
都用公道的天平、公道的砝码、公道的升斗、公道的秤，这是我耶和华你们的神曾经把你们从埃及地领出来的。在这里就神的秤，在古代的时候就这个从律法时代就有清楚的讲。
So since the time of Mosaic law, the scale of the Lord was clearly stated,
而且
defined it.
尺就是用来量长度的，秤用来称重量的，升用来量这个容器的在这些都是要用公道的这个砝码，公道的这个标准。
All the measurements need to be done or measured through the scale of righteousness.
那么因为神本性就是公义的。
For God Himself is justice.
那么神要我们造人，人有神的形象，也让人要学习有神的这个公义。
So when God created man in His own image, He also wanted us to learn His justice.
那么神把人放在这个义与不义当中，善与恶当中。
God placed man between injustice and justice, between good and evil.
但是神给我们人有一个意志的自由，我们要选择公义的砝码，或者要选择这个偏差的这个错误的。
And God gave us free will to choose between two sides.
尤其在这个主耶稣升天以后40年，让神的灵亲自与我们同在。
And after Jesus ascended to heaven, He gave us the Holy Spirit to be with us.
就是帮助我们，让我们人的这个砝码能够达到像神的这个砝码。
So it can help us that our weight, our weight on the scale may be like the weight on God's scale.
在这个神的新耶路撒冷的国度，人的尺寸就是天使的尺寸。
For in the New Jerusalem, the scale of man is the same as the scale of God.
所以神要我们不只是维持公义，维持这个我们用来判断事情，用来做论断、做决定的时候，能用这个神的尺寸。
So when the time comes to use the scale, we will use the weight from the God's scale.
我们避免在人所一些主观偏见傲慢所造成的这些错误。
We need to avoid mistake that is caused by men's objective opinions.
避免从人际关系的这个因素所造成的错误。
And also avoid being influenced by the interpersonal relationship.
因为神说是人认为清洁的，神却是用他的衡量量器来量我们人的心。
For what man thinks is pure is not necessarily pure in God's eyes.
我们在判断事情的时候，常常只看表面没有看到这个表面本质，或者是行为的本身是不是恶的。
Sometimes when we make judgments, we often see the surface of things. However, we need to look into the actions of things before we make judgments.
有时候无形当中成就一个表面上行为的一种模式，那么这些模式也常常是一种偏差、一种错误所造成的。
And sometimes our action becomes a formality, and sometimes this formality may cause us to make mistakes.
这也是主耶稣来在责备文士法利赛人，他们里面拜神，反而是把人的教训当作神的诫命。
That's why Jesus rebuked the Pharisees that even though you're worshiping God, yet you use the standard of men to be as teaching of God.
所以他当时名正言顺的批评说：“主耶稣，你跟你的门徒为什么吃饭不洗手？”
At that time, the Pharisee once rebuked Jesus, saying that, "How come you and your disciple does not wash your hand before eating the food?"
这一条可能是在当时他们法利赛人600多条的律法里面的一条。
Perhaps washing your hand before partaking the food is one of the rule that was set up by the Pharisees.
所以主耶稣说：“你们把人的遗传当作神的诫命。”
That's why Jesus said to them that you use the legacy of men as the commandment of God.
那就是法利赛人一大堆的，他们虽然在这个新旧约之间，他们亡国，他们想要能够改善，能够改正。
And they knew that because their country kingdom was destroyed, that's why they want to improve.
但是他们也是为了自己的方便，为了自己的利益所以当主耶稣把这个律法的这个精神讲出来的时候， 他们就没有办法接受了。
That's why there are so many laws to help them reach the improvement. That's why when Jesus mentioned the spirit of the Mosaic law, they were not pleased.
好像以前早期的教会也提过，说女人不可烫头发。
Just like the early church times, when they say woman cannot get a perm.
那时候大概是烫头发比较新出来的样子，所以这个烫头发就变成一种罪了。
And perhaps it's because at that time, getting a perm is something new, and all the style that came with it, so it kind of became a sin in the eyes of church.
60年代、70年代我们都很多都会在教会里面听过这个基督徒不可以看电影。
And we also heard in the 60s or 70s a question like, can a Christian go watch a movie?
固然有那个灵修，你要完全追求圣洁，不看电影，但这个固然是好。
If you have the cultivation to refrain yourself from not watching the movie, sure, that is good things.
但电影本身是一个工具。
However, movie itself is a tool.
工具本身就没有说好坏的。
And there's no right or wrong for a tool.
你用这个工具本身来批评，来说可以不可以或者是来做你的天平，来断定我们自己的这个规划，那就会引起偏差了。
And when you use this tool, such as the movie, to judge men on the scale, then the judgment there will be discrepancy in the judgment.
最后我们看一节圣经传道书第7章16节。
Lastly, let's look at Ecclesiastic.
传道书7章16节。
Ecclesiastic chapter 7.
7章16节。
7 verse 16.
说不要行义过分，也不要过于助成智慧，何必助取灭亡呢？17，不要行恶过分，也不要为人愚昧，何必不到其而死呢？18，你除这个为美，那个也不要松手，因为敬畏神的人必从这两样出来。在这里，这一句话是一句很有智慧的话。
And this is a wise saying.
这也是通常人所没有看到的。
And these are things that is often overlooked by men.
今天我们常常讲一些例子，这些例子常常是，甚至于包括那个米利暗的例子，他也是不要行义过分。
And oftentimes, we see examples like this, such as the example of Miriam, where she was overly righteous.
行义也要看这个环境，也要看这个情形那么行义过分的反而何必助取灭亡
And when you're overly righteous in a certain environment, then you will destroy yourself.
也就造成错误了。
And it become a mistake.
在这里说不要行恶过分。
He also says here, do not be overly wicked.
这不是说我们可以行一点恶没有关系的。
And this is not saying we can be slightly wicked.
这里是在告诉我们，行恶，当我们知道恶的时候，就不要去做了。
This is saying that when we realize we're doing something wrong, we should stop.
或者我们就成为一个愚昧的人。
So we do not become someone who is
愚
foolish.
昧的人不到这个死期的时候就死了，不应该死的就死了。
And the foolish one does not stop until they die.
就是错误的意思，我们造成的错误。
And which is referring to the mistake they made.
所以他接着在讲什么是敬畏神的人。
So then he mentioned what is a man who fears God.
你会把握这个为美， 另外一方面也不要放松。这个他说，敬畏神的人就是会从这两样出来。
It says here, a man that fears God will accomplish both here.
那就是有神的智慧。
And this means that this person has the wisdom of God.
在雅各书那边论什么叫做神从上头来的智慧。
And the Bible mentioned what is the wisdom from above.
它是先是和平、公义，还有结出这个义的这个善果。
It says it is the peace, it is peace and judgment, and also bearing the fruit.
今天我们从这个亚萨沙王、巴比伦王国的神所拿出来，在墙壁上所写的这个神的天平。
And today we found through the writing on the wall that appeared before Belshazzar.
我们也在回想到自己我们每一天所用的这个天平。
We learn about the scale of God, and we can also reflect on the scale we use in our daily life.
好，希望神带领我们，让我们有更多属灵的智慧。
We ask God to guide us so we may have more spiritual wisdom.
唱诗358首。
We'll sing hymn 358.